let's do less of talking and more of learning today. Okay, so we covered some very basic, I mean, sorting, filtering. I believe that there is no need of revision for this. We'll start with data validation. Okay. Now this is our raw data. The raw data that we are using is the data that comes with Tableau. Like when you install Tableau, they give some raw data to play along. Yeah. So we are going to use this for our session. And let's jump to our first topic, that is data validation. Okay. Now, data validation is important when you are tracking something, like when you are working on some, uh, say, remedy tickets. I would say some order IDs. You are processing some IDs. You want to track the status. Hence it is important. So this is our raw data, and consider this as a small set of orders. Okay, and these are the owners who are responsible for you know updating the status of the order. Now Kiran, let's say Kiran is working on this, and once he completes the processing, he needs to uh, update this particular status as complete. Okay, and the second one, let's say, not started. Now this is not the right way to do it, right? I mean, it will be very cumbersome if we do everything manually. So hence the better way would be using a data validation. Okay, let's see how to do that. Go to data valid. Here there is an option under data validation. We have an option called list. Okay, and under list it is asking for the source. So what we need is, so there are three particular items that we need. A order can be either completed, not started, or work in progress. Okay, so I'll update this. Now you'll see a drop down appear in the cell. Now when you expand this, you will be able to see all the three options here. Okay, one minute, I'll just have to close my video. All right, any questions here?
No.
Yeah, you're good, right? I mean, all we did was basic validation, basic data validation. Now, like suppose Kiran, has completed the order, he can mark it as a complete. Now, let's say we want to apply this to all the cells. Okay, all I would need to do is copy and then just paste it on the cells. Now it is applied to all cells. Okay. Now, one more thing I want to do is I want to, currently when you enter any other value, let's say, it doesn't allow you to enter any other value. Okay. The reason is when you check the validation, by default the error alert is stopped. I mean, the stop is selected as an error alert, so hence it is not allowing any other values here. So if you just change this to warning or information, now if you try to enter anything, it will allow you, provided it will ask you whether you want to continue or no. When you say yes, it will allow you to enter the value. Okay, now let's update some data points here. Now this is simple, right? What we learned is data validation. You can get data validation option from data, and there is an option here, data validation. Okay, now what you want to do, you want to apply some conditional formatting. Okay, for completed it should be green, so whenever you select completed, it should appear green in color. Okay, so it's conditional formatting option is available here. I'll select highlight cell. I'll say equal to, let's say completed. I want to change this to green fill. Okay. On same cell, I'm applying one more conditional formatting, that is, mm, one more. Okay. Now if I apply uh, this particular formatting, so to apply the formatting of the cell, now what you need to do is select on all the cells on which you want to apply the format. Right click, paste special, format. Shortcut is, Control C, Control ES, format. Okay. Now let's say if I select not started, it will automatically appear in red color. Okay. Simple. Any questions here?
Oh, can you explain the basic meaning of data validation?
Yeah. So the data validation, if you want to say avoid, any repetitive work, it's basically status. Then you need to update the status here for all the orders, and these people are currently working on this particular orders. So once they complete the order, they need to update the status as completed. So instead of writing it, they want a drop down. Okay, they want a drop down which has value, and they can easily select it from the drop down. Okay, so that is called data validation. There are many other options here, but but the most common one that we use is the list. There are many other, I've not used I think any of these apart from list in my entire career. I don't know, but yeah, there may be some use cases, but not very important to learn, I would say. All right. Now say let's now like everyone has completed the work, and they have updated the status here. Now, good, everyone good. I mean, does anyone has any question? Dave, do you have any question? Yeah, how can I get my participant list? All right.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Now we'll see something very interesting. Let's say you also want to add a sub status. Okay. Again, we will not do. I mean, we'll not do a very to do this. We don't want to do this with a very manual approach. We need some kind of automation here. Like what we need is like when if the status is completed, we want a drop down which should appear this to value. Okay. If the status is not started, it should have this to value, awaiting details, move to next sprint, and simultaneously if it is WIP, that is work in progress, a dynamic, what we need, a dynamic drop down here, dynamic validation here. Okay, so that can be done using a combination of validation and name range. Okay, so there is something called name range here name range. Okay, so what we need to do, I'll delete this one which I have already created. Okay, now clear with the requirement. The requirement is like if someone is updating status completed, or like any status, there has to be a sub status, uh, with respect to the status that you have selected. Okay, and these are the values that we need. Okay, now what we'll see is how to do that. Very first thing, we need a name range. Okay, I will create a name range. Insert, there is an option called name range, new. I'll give the name as completed. And my values will be this. Okay. One thing that need to be ensured here is that this particular name that we are giving, it is matching with the status. Okay. I mean, you cannot give any other name, and you will understand why I'm saying this. Okay, let's complete this first. Okay. One more I want, that is not started. My values in the data validation is this two.
Sorry for the interruption. May I ask how you selecting both the values?
See, there is a cross option here. Sorry, arrow option here. You click on arrow option, and all you need to do is select this. Okay, drag this.
Like dragging. Okay, okay.
Okay, just need to create and then. Hmm. Okay, now what you have done is you have created three. Uh, so ignore this one. I mean, these are different things. So you have created three name range, that is completed, not started, and WIP. Okay, and then you have assigned values to the name range. Okay. Um Now what we need here, we need these values here based on the selection. All I need to do is go to data validation list. Now instead of assigning a values, I'll write a formula called indirect. INDIRECT. Okay, this is the formula, indirect, and I will assign it to the status. I mean, uh, the previous column. Okay, so what I'm doing is it should basically check the value in E2 and accordingly provide the values. Okay, so now if you notice, you will see these two option. Okay, now for not started, you will see only the respective details. Okay, so this is the dynamic validation that we have done. You know, so the first one that we learned was a very basic, validation. It is basically an hard coded values that we are seeing. However, this particular second validation that we are seeing is a dynamic one. So it is a combination of name range with validation. Okay, so what we did is we first created this name range with these values. We created three name range, that is completed, not started, WIP. Okay, then what we did is we created a validation here and then used a formula called indirect E2. Now when I drag, it applies to all cells because when you check the validation here, it will give an E4 because we have dragged the formula. Okay, so it will basically take the value based on the selection. Clear? Any questions so far?
All good.
All good. Okay. Okay, let's see. All right, a very important thing we need to learn is self freezing. Okay, now this is something um, a very small thing, but it's very important. I mean, let's see, this is my data set. Uh, so if you must have noticed, I did one thing during my data validation. I just removed the dollar sign here. Okay, when you create a validation, it will appear like this. Okay, what I did, I removed all dollar sign here, and there is a reason for that, and we will learn what is the reason. Okay, now say this is my data set, and I'll just create a sum of it. Now if I just drag it, below, it is taking the sum of it is automatically taking the sum of all the respective columns. Okay, let's see if I just freeze it. Okay, F4, you need to press for freezing the cell, you need to put the cursor on the cell and press F4, again F4. Now what I'm doing here is I'm freezing the the cells, so that when you drag, it remain constant, it will not change. Now if I drag, you will see, everyone, you will see 197. Why? Because I have freezed column and row. F is column and 3 is row. Now if you see the formula in all the cells, it is same, C3 F3, because I have freezed it. Now if I say, if I just freeze row, okay, so this part, the number part is row and the alphabet part is the column. Now if you just so first time when you press F4, it will freeze all the both row and column. Second time again when you press F4, it will freeze only a row, and third time when you press, it will freeze only column. And again if you press F4, it will go away, it will just remove the freezing. Okay, now let's see what happens if we just freeze the row. Okay, see, it is not, again when I'm just freezing the row, when I'm dragging it, it is showing all the values here. Okay, why? Because it is taking, we have freezed F3, that is the third row. Okay, that is the third row, hence we are dragging, it's not moving. What we need is, so this is very important to understand. Even though it is very small thing, but now if I drag, let's say if I drag here, you will see the numbers are changing. It is giving the, it is taking the sum of the respective columns we want, respective rows we want. Why? What happened here is, F3 changed to F4 because we have not freezed the row, we have just freezed the column here. Okay, and then column freezing is also also has some significance. I'll just show you. Okay, so now we are good. So we are, we have just freezed the column and not row, and when you drag the formula down, it is changing the row as required. Similarly, when you move to the right, see what is happening here is, since we have freezed the column here, it is not changing the column. Let's see what happens if we just don't freeze anything. Now let's see what happens. Now when I change this to copy this to E, see, it is taking D and G. Similarly, when I free copy here, it is taking, so it is moving, right? It is moving. And when you freeze it, when you freeze the column, it will remain constant. Clear? It's very important. This is very small thing, but it's very important. It's going to be very confusing if this concept is not clear. Okay. Any questions? Any questions here? So no question is a silly question. Anyone, if if he's not able to understand anything, just ask. Do not hesitate to ask. It's very important to learn. It's okay if you look bad in front of others, but it's important to learn. Okay. Now, hence, what I did when I created a data validation, okay, see what would have happened if I, let's create a data validation again. Okay. Yeah, so meeting will end in 10 minutes, but so the moment we get kicked off, you can take 2-3 minutes break and join again. Okay. So we'll continue our session till what is the time? 9. Okay. So we are using Zoom, so it allows only 40 minutes of session. Yeah, but we can again join the same invite.
Sure.
Okay. Now let's do a data validation again. So one thing you will notice, when I write a formula, and if I see, it is by default it is giving $2. It is freezing row and column. And if I copy this here, all my is going to show the same value. Okay, it is not showing you. Okay, clear now. It is clear why I have to remove the $sign from here, so that it drags and it takes respective values that we want. Now let's
So indirectly, when we did that indirect formula, it took the $sign. So we need to
$sign.
remove it.
Yeah, now we need to remove it.
Okay.
Okay, I'll remove it and then drag it. By default, it will always take.
Okay.
Now just remove $sign. And now if you drag, now if you'll see, it is giving the proper values that we want.
Okay.
Good so far. Anyone has any question?
All
Yes.
good.
So we have not like we just did very small topics, before validation, like inserting worksheets. So in last session, we basically did a lot of talking, on setting up expectation and everything. I mean, the today is going to be important. If you miss today's lecture, and if you today's session, and if you plan to attend next session, it will be difficult for you to understand. But yeah, you are in a good space, because you started today. I think it should be good. All right. I'll move to the
Hello.
next topic.
Hello.
Any question? Yeah.
Have we completed the previous topics like navigation and views, moving and
Yeah, these are
copying
the
and
small. I
sorting
mean,
wala?
navigation is just an Excel navigation. I mean, I just explained. So very basic topics we covered in our last session. I mean, very basic thing. But if you are not aware of this, let's connect. Maybe sometime, and I can conduct a session for you.
The
Maybe
video
separate.
you have
Yeah,
the
I have
video
a
have
video. Yeah,
uploaded
I
on the
have a video.
YouTube. That's the right data visualizers or something.
Yeah,
6 days
you
ago,
can.
right?
Right. You can see that video. I just forgot
Okay,
about that.
I'll prefer that. And
And
you
you
will
can
be
let me
uploading
know
the
if you
same
have
video
any
on the YouTube
questions.
as well, right?
Yeah, today's video I'm going to post definitely.
Okay,
But
thank you.
just go through the video, and if you have any questions, just ask me. Okay. Now let's see, creating hyperlinks. Again, a very easy topic. Hyperlink. See, it's a very small thing. Hyperlink is you're just creating. Now let's say what I need is basically this is. I'll give you an example. When I was in, say, it's around 2006 when I joined Uvitas. I was working in a company called Havit Associates. I was very curious to learn Excel. At that time, I was very new to Excel. I was learning Excel. The first thing that I did was, learn hyperlink, and I created this. So this is a knowledge base that I created, and all I have used is this. There are no formulas, nothing. All I have used is hyperlink. Okay. So I mean, just using hyperlink, I was able to create this, and it really created a wow effect. I mean, people really liked it. I got award and everything. So what it does is basically, so this is the Excel sheet. When I click on a particular link, it gives me the the information for that particular topic that I have selected. And if I want to go back to my home page, I click on, it's not working, I guess. It goes back to the home. Okay. So this is hyperlink. It's very easy thing to learn, but such a easy thing, but we can do a lot of things. I mean, you can create a knowledge base on a lot of things. I mean, many other things you can do. I mean, you have a profile. Maybe you have a, let's say you have a profile created in Excel. You can want to link your profile to the LinkedIn. You can give an URL there. Okay, let's see how to do this. Now, this is a small example that I have created. I'll first remove the hyperlink from here. Now, same thing we want to achieve. Let's say this is a knowledge base. Okay. Now, and we have like different topics like scenario 1, scenario 2, scenario 3. Now what I want is like when I click on this, it should take me to the scenario 1, and scenario 1 is nothing but a different worksheet. Okay, let's see how to do that. I click on my, there is an option called link. So what I did is right click on scenario, link, and then there are a lot of options here. I'll select place in the same document. See here you can basically specify any URL, like say I give an example of LinkedIn. You can take an URL of your LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, you can put it here. It will basically open that for you when you click on that option. For the current scenario, what we need is so the moment you click on this, it will show you the different sheets that we have in our workbook. I will link it to scenario 1 sheet. Okay, now when I click on scenario 1, it is taking me to scenario 1. And similarly, I have created a button here, and I have linked it to the hyperlink example sheet. Same thing I have done. Let's do it again for scenario 2. I'll link it here. Okay, and this is again the same thing. You can basically see what I'm doing here. Okay, the reference is invalid. I think there is something wrong with this. Let's remove the link and right click link. What I want is it should take me back to the hyperlink example page. Good. Any questions?
All good.
I have a doubt regarding how did you added this images and scenario 1 and this green color.
Yeah,
That,
images. Yeah,
like,
there are a lot of
removing all the
options.
cells.
Yeah, so you just need to select entire sheet. You can click here to select entire sheet, and then give any color. Okay, images is simply I will go to Google. Let's say I want this logo. I mean this. So there is an software called snipping tool. I mean you can install it. I think it's available for free, or I think it comes with the default laptop. So all I will do, I will select this. I'll copy, right click and copy, and put it in anywhere I want in my Excel. Okay, simple.
How did you erase the all the cells in it? Like they are not visible. So it's basic, right?
Uh, no, I didn't get you. What is your question?
Like the cell you haven't. It looks like a plain word paper, like something like that. So
Yes, Sunny, I
there are
have
no
colored it.
cells.
I have colored it now because hence it is. If I give no fill,
Okay, that's why they are not visible.
yeah,
Okay,
no.
okay, okay,
But there is a way
okay.
to get
That's
rid
fine.
of this. There is a way to get rid of this. I mean, there
How
is
to do that?
yeah, view may there is an option. Grid lines kind of. If you uncheck this, it will go away. Okay. But yeah,
मैं
now
10 साल
let's.
से यूज करूं, मुझे नहीं मालूम था ये बात.
नहीं मालूम अच्छा.
नहीं.
Okay. No,
ऐसा
like
कर
Excel is
सकते.
very vast. Excel is, I mean, there are a lot of things which I still don't know, and it may be very small thing. Okay.
That was really cool. मजा आया मेरे को.
All right. Yeah, we'll move to the next. So currently what we are learning are very easy things in Excel. I mean in Excel, but yeah, I promise we'll see something very interesting when we move to the some complex topics. Now